It's the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode of the Mike Prince Show. Our mission is to try to bring you some news that you could use. Today is no exception to the rule. Follow me on Twitter at the Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network, and of course the website obnradio.com. And in the event you miss any episodes, any productions from the Open Mic Broadcast Network, simply ask your smart device to play the latest episode of the Mike Prince Show. And with all that being said, let us jump right into today's episode. We know that the SWAC championship has been established, and for the other 10 teams that are left behind, it is focusing on recruiting. And when it comes in particular to Prairie View, where do you go? Who do you invite? What needs are most high on the got to have list? And we know that the portal has opened up. Some key players have already made it known that they will be going to the portal. And we do understand that the portal is a game changer. And just as those leave for the portal, you can bring in from the portal. Then you have your JUCO transfers, as well as your high school recruits, which is what I want to focus on for this episode. Recruiting. We've heard it time after time, in particular at PV Nation, that the coaching staff need to recruit more Texas players because Texas has a wealth of talent throughout the state. And that is a very true statement. However, on the flip side of that coin, the recruits that others recommend or have on their wish list, they have got to want to be at PV. You could have people right in your backyard, but if they're not desiring to be at Prairie View, you still have rosters to fill. Here is the hill that must be climbed, and I'm focused on Prairie View today, but your HBCUs and your smaller universities have this to contend with from C to C. It's not going to change, but we're just going to laser focus in at Prairie View on today. We know that 4- and 5-star recruits, are hotbeds for your larger programs. And very rarely do you get a kid to flip, as Deion Sanders was able to get a kid to flip to come to Jackson State. However, with all that being said, if you're going to be focused on, let's be honest, the 2 to 3 to 4 tier players, and you're going out there and you're giving it your best shot, and you're staying within the state that you reside in our case, we're talking about the state of Texas. When you look at this thing, and if you want to get even more specific with your marksmanship of recruiting, and with your HBCU program, you're going to have a strong emphasis on African American potential student athletes. And when these kids are remotely thinking that they are capable of going to the quote-unquote the next level or going to a larger program, let's look at the competition available at your fingertips in your own backyard. Texas A&M, University of Texas, Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, University of Houston, UTSA, North Texas. That's just 8, I believe, to name a few. What am I trying to say? That if you have any kid of substance that could have an immediate impact on your program, I'm talking about someone who is able to come in right away and make a difference, not the developmental project that we have accustomed had to take, but I'm talking about that kid that can come in and play all the way through. The choices that they have just in the state of Texas, by the time they look in a Prairie View, Texas Southern's direction, they feel like that they are settling. They feel like that, I guess I'll go here. And some of you might be hearing this, might be, no, I disagree with that. And you're entitled to disagree with that. But that's part of the reality that these coaches are dealing with every day. So what is the solution? How do you counter that kid who may turn their nose up, if you allow me to put it that way, to a Prairie View A&M University? You're going to have to step outside your state lines. Remember what we stated at the top of this commentary. Texas is a wealth of talent. And many people on the outside recognize that. That's why if you recruit outside your state lines, there are some bona fide difference makers outside your state line that could come in and be an impact on your program right away. And they would love the opportunity to play in Texas. They would consider that an honor to come and play in the state of Texas. Now, in the case of Prairie View, we know what the average cost annually for a student athlete or a student per se to attend Prairie View. And the last we checked mathematically, it's about $36,000 per year. And if you were to break that down mathematically with the 63 scholarships that are available, and we know that everyone on the team is not on scholarship, but I'm just using this for, let's say, layman terms or example of what could be. Mathematically, if you take the 36,000 times the 63 student athletes, and I know I'm focused on football right now, you're looking at a shade over $2 million, something like $2.1 million. That's just in getting the players to make the system work or to be productive. And if you have, and I'm just once again, for layman explanation, half of those guys from out of state, that's about $1 million in scholarship money or student fees and tuition. The way you counter that simply is with a waiver. Yeah, I know you're going to miss your money in this area, but you get it back on the backside. And you could somewhat create a balance for your program's present and its future. Something to think about, something to look into. I'm not an athletic director, nor do I desire to be one. But when you look at all of the potential angles that you could make this thing right, if you would, you gotta leave no stone unturned. Of course, you start at home in Texas. But if they don't want you, you gotta keep on building. And the only way that you're going to build is you're going to have to cross those Texas borders. Now, where do you go? That's entirely up to the connections that can potentially be made. But it's a good problem to have because, once again, Texas and football are somewhat synonymous. And who wouldn't want to play football in the great state of Texas? Something to think about. You guys let me know what you think. We have a 24-hour message line that you can leave your thoughts, comments, questions, or suggestions on. And it is 720-721-1558. When you call and leave your comments, you could desire to remain anonymous, or you can give the permission and okay to let it rip. It's entirely up to you. But we are willing to hear what you have to say. That number again, 720-721-1558. I am going to exit stage left for right now. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Well, it's time to exit stage left. But until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.